Welcome to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Last week's game was a real stinker, but what keeps me going is the hope that one day we will land on the Neo Geo. And it's not going to be this week. We got the Sega Master System. Could be worse, at least it's not the Jaguar again, that's my feeling. And let's see, we've got 116 games left on the Master System wheel. ALF. You know what my first thought is here, what's great about this? You know, this goes on TikTok, there's a lot of younger viewers, and I'm super excited when I think about the fact that I will undoubtedly be someone's introduction to ALF. Like, the 80s were a wild time, and there are certain things from the 80s that are so funny to explain to people if they've never heard of it. Imagine explaining Pee Wee Herman to someone who'd never seen Pee Wee Herman. I once got to explain Bobcat Goldthwait to a girlfriend. It was like the highlight of my month. It's so funny and unhinged, and now I get to introduce ALF to someone who's never seen him. In the 80s, we had a couple of high-concept, wacky, and cheesy sitcoms. Small Wonder comes to mind, that's about a little girl who's a robot. And then we had ALF. It's a giant goofy puppet that's the star of the show. He's a space alien, he crash lands in this family's garage, and they just have to keep him there and hide him in the house, and he pretty much never leaves the house. No one's allowed to see him, and he just causes hijinks in the house.
I have never clog danced in my life.
Oh, it's easy. I mean, what do? You just clog up a sink and dance around it, right?
Well, if you don't clog up a sink to clog dance.
Then what's the name of the dance where you do clog up a sink?
There isn't one.
Well, I suggest we call it the Funky Elf.
Oh, and he also eats cats on his home planet. So he's always trying to catch the family's cat so he can eat it. I was a little kid, but even at the time I knew that ALF was really, really cheesy. But overall, my memory of it is that I liked it. I was on board with ALF. And if anyone watches American Dad, the character Roger is basically ALF. So how does the video game for ALF fare? Let's put it this way. I'm glad I never got this under my Christmas tree. It's pretty crappy. It's slapped together. It looks like it was rushed. But when I was playing this, I'm not gonna lie, something did come over me. For some reason, I did look at a guide, and I saw that it was pretty short if you knew what to do. So I didn't put in any codes. I did use save states because you die so much in this game. It is impossible to get through this bat cave level without dying 100 times. The deaths are really cheesy. So I did use save states, no codes, and a guide, but I did straight up roll credits on ALF. I don't know. I was playing it till like 3 a.m, but ALF was defeated, and I'm kind of proud of it. And aside from the cheap deaths, it's really about knowing what to do, and that's where the guide came in. There's the cat. I assumed I had to eat it, but then you learn later that in the next room you have to go downstairs and use the cat to chase away the rat, because if you go down in the basement, then the rat kills you. The only weapon in the game is a salami that you got from the fridge. That's how you bat bats away with the salami. And if you do everything in order, you get the gold nugget, and you sell that at the store, and then you use that to buy a ladder and a key. You use the key to get a swimsuit, because apparently you couldn't dive into this bottomless lake in the backyard without a swimsuit. Then you sell the pearl you got down there, and then you go get some fuel, and you can use the fuel for your rocket scooter and fly to the International Space Station, which I guess sells spacesuits. If you can get up there, they'll sell you a spacesuit for $100. Then you just got to make it up to the moon without getting hit and fly into the moon's mouth, because that's a thing. And then you get to go home. I'm not gonna lie, despite the fact that the game is kind of awful, I did feel a huge sense of accomplishment. I'm wearing this like a badge of honor. I beat ALF. So when I'm thinking of giving a rating to ALF, it's tough. I'm kind of torn. We've definitely played worse games on the show. I'm not coming anywhere near to showing you guys how many times I died, but trust me, I died so many cheap deaths. It's colorful, it controls fine enough, it's competent. My 2024 experience with it makes me think that it should get a 2 out of 5, but the other side of it is this came out in 1989. And in 1989, you did not have any internet, and you did not have any guides online that you could look up. And I'm trying to put myself at that time, and if I had this game, it would just sit on the shelf because I would never know what to do. If you know what to do, it's pretty short. It's actually extremely short. But if you don't, this is just a ball of frustration. Some of the early things that you have to do, there are some clues, but the rest is just guessing. And after you fought so hard trying not to die in those caves from those bats, and then having to guess what to do right after that, and then if you somehow survive after that, you have to guess a couple other things. That's pretty crappy, lazy game design. And for that reason alone, I think I'm gonna have to give ALF a 1 out of 5. I feel bad, it's high on the 1 scale as far as the other ones we've had, but I don't think it deserves that 2. Sorry, ALF. Go f*** yourself. Alright, even though that was an awful game, it was a pretty fun change of pace. I'm glad it came up on the wheel, otherwise I would have never have played it, and it was interesting. That's all we can hope for. Looking forward to seeing what we get next week. See you then.